This is the most complicated general aviation airplane in the world, and today I'm going to attempt to fly it for the first time. Before we do that, we're going to explore the simplest airplane, the J3 Cub, then the world's preeminent trainer, the 172, finally to the world's best-selling general aviation airplane, the Cirrus, and then hop in this one. Can I get a clear prep? What we have here is the mighty J3 Cub. The only thing more simple than this is a kite and a string. We're talking pure stick and rudder, the way God intended it. I am joined by Jeff. He's kind of a living legend, if you will. Right. Jeff, Jimmy,
good to meet you.
Thanks so much for meeting us out here, and we're going to be flying this thing in just a second. So Jeff, approximately how many hours do you have under your belt?
A little over 30,000, 31,000, I think.
31?
That's ridiculous.
That's nuts.
All airliner stuff is the biggest part of it, obviously.
How many hours you got in this, and like what have you flown?
Well, everything from Cubs to probably the most sophisticated airliner in the world. Everything in between I can think of.
So are you a professional pilot?
I was a professional pilot. I'm retired now. I checked out on the 787 when it was brand new to our company.
Gosh. Do you have any time in the Cessna 400 series airplanes?
No.
Okay. Pressurized twin
that's not
engines?
true. I do. You know, when you said 400, I'm thinking of that Columbia thing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, a couple here and there. 421.
Okay.
And I thought it was a neat airplane. It's quiet. It was wonderful. Yeah.
On the scale of complicated airplanes to fly, you know, this clearly we're here because it's the simplest. Where are you at on the, what's your opinion of the 421 with all of the systems and a single pilot operation?
You know, it's right up there in the top complicated piston twins, no question about it. It's air conditioned, pressurized, turbocharged, geared. It's got all the bells and whistles. Jimmy, the very basic parts of flying that airplane are no different than this. You're sitting behind the CG, all the things that the Cub does better than any other airplane are here in this airplane. And that's why I say it's the best trainer. You just spend 5 or 10 hours in this, and you can transition those skills to every other airplane, including the 421, including the 787, 727, all the stuff I flew. I flew it just like I fly this, because this teaches you how to control the airplane this way. You're sitting behind the center of gravity, so you've got that, you feel that, and that's when they call seat of the pants. When you're in a turn and you're not perfectly coordinated, it's much easier in this because you're not at the center of where the airplane pivots.
Oh, interesting. You can feel a slip and a
much
skid
easier, much easier. And boy, once you learn that in the initial stages, it translates to every other airplane. This is a building block process, but I can't stress enough how important the building block is starting in this airplane.
Well, good. Well, then let's get started.
All right.
All right. Let's hit the skies. All right, boss, walk me around. What are we looking at here?
Well, the good news is there's not a lot of stuff to do. You don't have to put the flaps down and check it. Doesn't have them. Doesn't have an electrical system, so you don't have to turn a bunch of stuff on and check it. The gas gauge is self-explanatory.
Gasket. Okay, this?
Yep.
Here, look.
This is, NASA hadn't improved on this yet. That's full. That's empty. And when it hits that and starts doing this, you got about 30 minutes. And you know, we're nearly half full. We got enough for an hour and a half probably, goofing around, and that'll be long enough. So we don't have to do anything. We can check the cockpit, make sure the mag switch is off, but I don't intend to fool with the prop too much anyway, because even if the mag switch is off, if it's got a broken wire, it'll hit. And you know, it doesn't have a mixture control, so it's not done with idle cutoff like you're probably used to. We just turn the mags off.
Oh, that's true. This is so simple that it just has throttle and an actual gas lever to turn the gas tanks off, and a mag switch.
Yeah, and don't get confused with that. That's wing tank add-ons that you can add gas to this when you're going long distances, like 80 miles.
Woo!
You know, so those didn't even come in original J3s. But yeah, it's got a carb heat, a fuel shut-off, it's red, and a throttle, and a trim thing. And we'll get to that. Anyway, all right. I pulled and drained the sump earlier because it takes time. The oil thing is pretty easy. Just the big thing, check the oil.
Check the oil, check the fuel.
And then the big thing is make sure it goes click. That way, cap doesn't come off. You always know when it comes off because oil goes all over the place.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't ask me how I know that. The usual, clear this, and I said we don't fool with this, but I do check, make sure you didn't pick up any rocks. You know, the usual stuff. The shock cords are covered, but I know they're okay because the airplane didn't lean in.
You said shock cords. So is that what's under the black?
That's exactly it. In fact, usually don't do this on a pre-flight, but I'm a mechanic. I can do whatever I want. It's got big giant rubber bands in here that boom, boom.
That's all it is just a couple of bungee cords.
If you cut one of those open, it's just bunches of rubber bands. And they are rubber, so we replace them every year or two, or else the airplane will sag a little.
So that's keeping it simple right there.
It is simple. And anyway, so it's not, the airplane's not leaning, and it's made to where even if the shock cord failed, it goes to a limit and it won't drag the wing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, struts are all hooked up. You look at any bolt and see if it's hooked up. Cables are free, and most of them are hanging outside.
Oh yeah, so you can see all the flight controls moving and working.
Yeah, I usually check, make sure the pins are all in, and there's no cotter pins missing. You know, since you can see them, why not check them? And my pre-flight began from back in the hangar, of course.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, he's already actually done a full pre-flight.
Yeah.
We're just doing this for you guys.
Yeah, I like to look at the whole airplane, make sure nothing's missing. You know?
It's got a tail on it?
Yeah.
That's good.
You'd be surprised. And we checked the trim in there, that it's in the pretty much the takeoff position. That's the pretty much midpoint here. This is a very ahead of its time airplane. It has a movable stabilizer for trim like a jet.
Oh, wow.
You know, but that's just the way they did it. It's got a little jack screw in there. A lot of airplanes back in this era did that. No counterbalancing on the elevators. When they got into Super Cubs, they started doing that like this. And again, looking at the pins, making sure the wires are tight. This is one of your more important things, and people ignore a lot, is the tail wheel. So we want to make sure that's hooked up nice and actually works. And
that's how you turn this, because we don't have a nose wheel like the girly boy airplanes.
No, but they're controlled with the rudder pedals, though, thank goodness. At least they didn't hold the Wright brothers thing with all this stuff. And,
the weight shifting?
You know.
Yeah.
Like, it is like a normal airplane. And it's got a handle on this side. It's not very heavy.
That is just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, isn't it? And the same thing over here. We'll just check everything and make sure everything's safety, not going to fall off. And somebody hadn't drugged the wingtip. You know, there are people that do that and don't tell anybody. But generally speaking, out here, not the case. But I told, you know, if we needed to work on the tire, we just get a couple of wood blocks, and even an old geezer like me can lift the airplane up, put a block under the strut, and work on the tire.
Golly.
You don't need to hoist it or anything. It's pretty basic. And again, that's it.
There are a couple of modifications to this Cub purely because we needed it to make this film for you. The first one is she's got a couple more BTUs up front. The normal one is only a 65 horse. This is a 85 horse. So we got an extra 20 ponies. And then the second modification is there's no radios or headsets or anything in this. And he was telling me that you prefer to not fly with headsets during a training type environment.
Initial training especially, it's another distraction. And of course I've experimented with this. This is not something that I just dream about. You know, I started that way, so everybody should. That's not it. I've had students where I'm like, you know, let's take all this stuff off and just throw it back here and we'll just talk. The airplanes aren't that loud. What? And then later, when it's time to go on a cross country or do some night work or something and actually navigate and communicate, put that stuff on, and the flying is now secondary. And you're doing it without thinking. And I've seen it over and over. It accelerates the flight training experience a lot, number one. Number two, it makes you a better pilot. Because you're concentrating on what's important here and not on making traffic calls. Not that that's a bad thing. And it's just a distraction we don't need. Now, we'll use them today because we want to get some audio between us.
We need to tell some stories.
Switches to both. And you might crack the throttle, but I don't mean imperceptibly. Just keep it running.
Roger that.
Contact.
All right.
Oh, now it's going to do this.
Roger that.
Time to go flying.
All right, you ready?
Yep, and I'll be on there if you need me. Otherwise, I won't.
All right, here we go.
Do it.
Awesome. And hold that throttle all the way open. Good. Just keep it going straight, a little bit more right. Good. Get the tail up a little bit. There you go. Hold that pitch right there. Hold it. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. It'll come right off the ground. There you go. Now look at your wing. There's your angle right there. And there's that nose position. Don't get it too high or we'll get slow. Good. Lots of rudder. Lead everything with rudder. And we're going to get up in the air and talk about that a little bit. We'll make a pilot out of you today. I'm going to throttle back a little bit like cruise, 2200. And I'll show you the, I haven't seen any traffic. We'll kill the engine here. Yeah, we're kind of compressing a lot into one here. And you haven't done this kind of flying before. So,
and the wind is coming at us that way, so we're going to cut right.
Yeah.
What's our altitude? 14?
You're doing great, man.
All right, ready to cut it in?
Carburetor heat's on. Got it. You pull it all the way off. Because we're going to be, yeah. Now it takes a lot of rudder, doesn't it? Beautiful. Now from now on, obviously, this is our speed control, right? And this is our altitude control. Like every airplane, right?
Flying this J3 Cub was so much fun. You could feel every movement of the flight controls, and the slightest push on the rudders with your feet, you could really feel it right in the seat of your pants. What a fantastic airplane to start.
Tell if we're going straight or not. Let it come right on down, Jimmy. Now hold it a foot off the ground. Slowly pull, pull, pull. Get that position. Pull, pull, pull hard, pull hard, pull hard. Come on, keep her coming back.
Well, we're
Let
still
it
about
stall.
3 feet off.
No, we're all right. Watch this. Now keep taxi fast. Taxi fast so we don't run off the runway. Stick in your belly. Stick in your belly. There you go. Taxi fast. Lead it a little bit. Good. We had a little RPM on there. It wasn't your fault.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, that's the way it's done.
Yeah.
It's not complicated. In fact, it's downhill. Kill it here. You can kill it with the switches. Beautiful, man. You're better at this than you think.
Hey-oh, that was a good time.
I'm going to turn this off.
Thanks so much. Hey, we're going to head out to a 172 next on our journey toward that 421.
Awesome.
Any one nugget of advice? Oh, wait, I forgot to ask you. What was the scariest moment in an airplane you've ever had? It'll come immediately.
That's a great question. And the biggest time my stomach sunk, I was the first officer on a 727, and we hit some turbulence going slow, like 210 knots, clean, fixing to put flaps out. And we got into some light turbulence, and it wasn't anything, but I was pretty new on the airplane. And I remember the captain, a really great guy, Bill Cooper, going, you know, it took a lot of displacement because clean, only the little ailerons are working. It's got 2 sets, you know. And I thought, and it still didn't react as quick as this would. And my stomach went, holy crap. And then it recovered, and that was it. I never felt that again because I realized how the airplane flew, but with that airplane at minimum speed, and of course professional pilots look at maneuvering speed as a minimum. We were at 210 knots, fixing to put flaps to 1 or 2, whatever, I can't remember, on the 727. And so we had the small ailerons, and it just didn't react like I thought it should. And I'm like, oh no, oh, okay. But that little moment that's the only time I've ever got a sinking feeling, because if it goes past a certain point and you can't recover, you're just on the ride down, and I didn't want that.
Oh yeah, no
But that was
kidding.
it. Otherwise, I think I have that gene in me that just, I don't react badly until later. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I hadn't had the shakes after something happened, but it was later.
So
You know,
when those
go ahead.
engine failures and things like that on little GA airplanes or big airplanes?
Some, yes. A Bucher quit 4 times before I put the Lycoming on it. That's why I thought, man, I'm going to lose the airplane if I keep this up. I got started 3 of the 4, and I did stick once. And then a couple of them were on airliners and stuff. And then I had one on a light twin, but it was like no big deal. We're in the pattern. And a couple of major, I had one to seize.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was over an airport though, so I did stick it just like I would here. And I'm like, now what? Well, I got to bring an engine 300 miles.
Yeah.
You know, I'd already leaped to that.
Well, we're already stuck out here in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. But I was like, hey, they got them over an airport. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The way I learned to fly, that was a no-brainer. It wasn't even, I didn't even breathe hard. You know, I'm like, oh, crud.
Well,
I guess we don't have to worry
landing.
what's wrong with it now, you know.
That's right. Well, landing. Yeah.
And, you know, I put the gear down and increased my glide angle a little bit and landed right on the numbers. And I was in the right seat. A friend of mine was flying in at brakes. And I said, let me take over. It was a Bonanza. And he goes, no problem. And I landed and I said, put the brakes on. We don't have to push it so far, you know. So that was that's a wonderful product of being a professional pilot is you look further. And that's what it gains you. As your experience builds, you look further and further into a flight. And so, but that's the only time, back to your original question, I remember my stomach going, ooh, because I didn't know what was going on. Every other time I did.
There you go.
Anyway.
Fantastic. Jeff.
No problem.
Such pleasure.
Mine, totally.
All right. Let's see this next one now. As we journey through the complexity of airplanes, we stop here at the well-known 172. This is your basic trainer. We're going to take a look inside. We've got our pilot buddy Devin that's going to be joining us in a minute to show us around this girl. All right, what do we got here? What are we flying today?
So we're flying a Skyhawk. This is a Cessna 172. They've been building these airplanes since 1956, the same year as the 310.
Yes.
The most produced airplane ever.
Yeah,
So
how many of these do you know ballpark?
it's somewhere in the mid 40,000 range right now.
1,000 of these. They
Yeah.
still making them today?
They make them today. It's about a 2 to 3 year wait, and you want to guess on the price?
I mean, you can find these used on Trade-A-Plane and every place else for anywhere from 70 grand to just the sky's the limit.
Brand new off the floor from Cessna, after your 2 to 3 year wait, is about $600,000. So I've heard. I haven't called and tried to buy one myself.
Oh,
I have seen some for sale for about $750,000.
Gosh, so if you're impatient, you pay for it.
Yeah.
Dang,
Yep.
750 grand for this thing.
But it's a Skyhawk. It does everything okay. It does everything okay.
It's mediocre
Yes.
at everything.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
the best trainer. There's probably no pilot that you'd meet that hasn't flown one of these.
That's true.
Everyone's probably has a Skyhawk somewhere in their logbook. So this airplane I did all of my ratings in, from instrument all the way to double I.
That's for non-aviation people. That's where you do your training when you can't see outside. And double I is instrument instructor, which means he can now train and teach people, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about your history. And he is one of the, I think he's the guy that broke the 310. Just saying.
I admitted
Just
to what
throwing
I
that
broke.
Yeah. Uh-huh. The nose gear was the worst, and I think he had a few where the nose hit first. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus on that, but yeah, you caused the 310 to be whatever future it's gonna be. Anyways, back to this thing. So yeah, we're gonna go up, check it out, see the complexity of this airplane, and then, you know, it's got a little more updated gauges than the really, really basic stuff. We don't have to hand prop this one.
No.
That's nice. It's got a battery and everything.
Yeah.
So we can just hit the key, start it up. The gears do not fold on purpose.
Down and welded all the time. Can't get stuck up.
Yeah, that's right. You never forget to put the gears down. It's like some of the other airplanes we're going to be seeing here in just a minute. Kind of simple, straightforward.
It's a real simple airplane. It's a great trainer. It's probably the best trainer that's ever been built.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well, without further ado, let's
hop in and go.
Take it for a ride.
Yeah.
Can I get a
clear pop?
Plant City traffic 1033 Alpha, taxiing Alpha to runway 10, Plant City. And this doesn't, it's only got 2 knobs in here for the go buttons.
Yep.
So this one makes it louder. That one makes it quieter if you pull it all the way out.
Yep.
Turns it off.
Saves you a little money if that one's all the way in.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. The money, this is the volume for the money to noise converter. And this is the rate at which you convert money to noise. Yes.
Correct. That's the way I like to think about that.
That's right.
So, being a wet rental, we usually just leave it forward though.
Oh, that's fun.
Actually, I think the 310 is in one.
So we got an audio panel up here, which is nice.
With the new Bluetooth, this is new.
Oh, a new Bluetooth on this.
Yeah.
Thing. Fancy. And we got COM 1 here. This is our where people know where we're at. We have to tell the government where we're going. is our GPS here, fancy pants, and it's connected to this old thing over here, which we are going to see in just a little bit what it does. So, all right, well, the winds were kind of coming that way, so we'll go that way.
Cool.
And does this have ADS-B in? Can we see traffic?
Yeah, I'll have my iPad out too.
Okay.
So we'll do a quick run up. Pre-takeoff, we're going to do 10 degrees of flaps. Mixture is going to be best power. Fuel pump's going to be off. Good. Heading bug.
Wait, fuel pump is off for takeoff?
Yep. That is only used to start the engine and if our mechanical one fails.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's okay. That's different.
Yep. Transponder is set. We're in altitude mode. Everything looks good there. Your door's closed. Seatbelt's on. Windows locked. I'll get mine.
Window is locked. Yes, sir.
All right. Cool. And are you doing takeoff or am I doing takeoff?
I'll do takeoff.
All right. Cool. So we're looking for about 55. I want you to climb out about 65.
That's awesome. 55.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. And we check traffic. Looking down final. We ready to go?
Yeah. I'm good if you're good.
I'm good.
All right.
Plant City traffic, 1033 Alpha, departing runway 10, Plant City. And we'll go down here, take all the runway, because, 55 knots takes,
It does. It does. It takes about 800 feet.
55 knots. Dude, I don't rotate in the Lance Air until about 80 knots. It starts getting light at about 65, 70 knots. And then you don't pull back on the stick until you're like 80, 85 knots.
Oh my god, the Skycatcher, we come in on final about 50, 55.
Dude, mine's stall speed is higher than that. All right, clear final.
Final looks good. Your airplane, sir?
Fine.
If you need me, I'm here.
Roger that. And we only have the one lever to push in. Instruments, engine instruments are right here. And we're looking for 55.
Yes, sir.
And what sort of P factor do we got on this girl?
It's not too terrible. Kind of just put a little.
Oh yeah, not near as much. All right.
Yeah.
Coming up on power. There's full power. All right. Engine instruments still in the green. Airspeed is there. It is alive. Everything's still good. There's 55. 55. We'll gentle back on it. And we're going up. All right. We are out of runway. Brakes. Gear up.
Still down there.
Still down there. Oh, the pitch attitude on this thing is pretty good.
Yeah. We can drop that nose a little bit. There you go.
What's our VY on this?
VY is 74, VX 62. So what I teach is now flaps up at 500 feet.
Where the heck is the flap button? There it is.
Yep.
Flap's coming up.
Let the nose fall to about 74. And now you can see the horizon and everything out there. So you can get that nose up just a touch.
And get back on track. Where's the altitude on this thing? Right there we go.
There you go.
We're at 600. And what are we climbing out and going south?
Yeah, south and north, up to you.
Alright. Yeah, we'll head south. Stay away from the jumpers up there. Plant City traffic, 1033 Alpha, departing the area to the south. Plant City.
Let's go.
And it was weird, I'm done already with my cruise. I guess we'll pull it back. I don't know what cruise climb speed is.
Let's get up to about 1,700 feet. That'll be good for our approach coming back in later.
Okay, we're only at 900 feet right now?
Oh, she'll climb. You're just climbing fast.
Ah, well, again, different speeds.
Oh, man.
So 74 is VY on this thing, right?
A-firm, yep. And then usually I like to teach about after 1,000 feet, we'll transition to a climb about here.
Okay,
So,
cruise climb.
Yeah. Oh, looks like we have a little bit of a cloud layer starting here.
Oh, fun. Which is good because this is instrument approved in case we have to come through one of those little puffy clouds.
Yep.
Did you know that NASA uses the 172 to train astronauts? They also test the airplane like this. The 172 holds the world record for the longest flight of, ready for this, 64 days, 22 hours, and 19 minutes. That's more than 2 months flying in this little tiny airplane. That'd be a fun video to make about that. Comment below if you want to hear more about this insane flight. The 172 was also the first Cessna designed with a nose wheel. This is the Goldilocks of airplanes. Not too slow, not too fast, not too big, not too small, not too complicated, and not too simple. I can see why it's the world's most produced airplane.
Devin,
That was
thanks
awesome.
so much, sir.
Thanks for coming
Appreciate it.
out. I got to take you flying now instead of you taking me flying in the 310.
That's true, yeah, that's fantastic. All right, next stop, let's go to something more complicated. Taking a giant step forward in complexity and advancement in aviation is this, the Cirrus SR20. The whole Cirrus line, it is composite, so it's not made from rivets and aluminum. It's got some fancy avionics in it. This airplane basically flies itself. It even has a parachute for when everything does go wrong. Let's hop in, check it out. I am here with Dave. He is the chief pilot here at Atlas Aviation, and these guys are so gracious to do this for us. Dave, thanks so much for coming out and checking it out.
Sure.
What are some quick things? This is not a metal plane, it is...
It's all composite. Well, not entirely composite. The wing structure, the fuselage structure, all of that is composite. All the control surfaces are still aluminum.
Okay, so we're mixing everything in here, and I see a whole bunch of screens inside there.
Yes, it's almost more screens than a sports bar.
That's right.
We have the primary flight displays, the one on the left, that's where we have all of our primary flight instruments, so airspeed, altitude, vertical speed, what's called a horizontal situation indicator, fancy word for compass, which also gives you course guidance. And the whole screen serves as an attitude indicator. So instead of in the steam gauge airplane where you have a little 3-inch simulation of sky and ground and you have to try to orient with that.
Make sure the blue stays up and the brown stays down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this thing is the whole screen. So no matter where you're looking on the screen, you can still see what the aircraft's orientation is. So it makes it safer, better situational awareness, that kind of stuff. The second screen on the right is called a multi-function display, and it has multiple functions, as the name implies.
That's amazing. Who came up with that? That's good marketing.
Yeah, well, you know, since it's aviation, there has to be an acronym, so MFD. We can't just like use words like normal people. But it is most commonly left in the moving map orientation, so you can see where you are. And it also will display the traffic that's around you. We can overlay the weather that's in the area, so it's got...
wow, that is a huge step up from that 172.
So
Gosh.
you can see like radar services available on the iPad, which we can carry with us. We have a data feed that we can receive through the avionics in the airplane, and then on our iPads we can even display wind speed and direction.
Gee whiz.
Tons of information that, you know, when I learned to fly 34 years ago was just not around.
Wow. I also noticed the yoke or the stick is on the side.
Yes. So it's not really a stick. It's just like a yoke. They call it a side yoke. So instead of it being in the middle and having two things to hang on to, even though we only ever hold one anyway, it's like they sawed one of them off, bent it around so there's only one, and then they moved it off to the side. So it's out of the way, and it's a much cleaner cockpit. You have a little more room in there.
You're not knocking it every time you move,
Exactly.
you know, readjust your seat position. Well, that's no fun. That's part of the fun of flying.
No, I know, but it's nice that it's out of the way.
That's right.
So otherwise, it's the same motions as you would use with a yoke. So it's really not very different. A lot of people worry, ooh, when I start flying this thing, is it going to be difficult? It's like, after a couple minutes, it's just how you move the plane. You don't even think about it.
That's right. And I spy with my little eye a blue little dial over there. Is that air conditioning I spy?
It absolutely is.
Oh, praise the Lord. Because we are in Florida, and it's summertime. And I mean, you have 3 seasons in Florida, pre-summer, summer, and post-summer.
Pretty much.
And then there's like 2 weeks of other in there.
It's hurricane season and not hurricane season.
That's right.
Much it.
Visible from behind the airplane, so rather than make some poor guy crawl all the way back there and wire it, they just stick it out here.
Oh, that's really smart.
So it's all LED lighting on this thing. And here, those are our landing lights in the forward edge of the wing there.
Wow, that is cool. So there's no lights on the back of it.
None.
Whoa.
And then this one, this is called an ice light. So it shines on the wing so that at night or in low visibility conditions, you can tell if you're building up any ice on the airplane.
That is pretty cool.
In the ones that are equipped for FICI, there's also a little metal tab that sticks out here, and it's out in front of the ice protection system because it's the thinnest radius thing. That's where ice would accumulate first, and that light's pointed right at it.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought that went in these airplanes.
And I noticed that the wing is different shaped on the outside than it is on the inside. What's that about?
Well, what that does is it's called a wing cuff. So from this section out, the wing is flying at a slightly lower angle of attack, and I know, I'm getting piloty here, but basically it means that that part of the wing is going to stall last. So that allows us to maintain control of the airplane deeper into a stall, makes the aircraft spin resistant. A lot of airplanes use something like this, like the Cessnas you can see over there. They use something called washout, where the wing is actually twisted a little bit the farther out you go to accomplish the same thing.
Interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. All right.
So then we just need to look at the lights on the other side. So there's
and these little lights on the very end are the landing lights?
These right here, yeah, those are your landing lights.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And then, your navigation light, strobes. This is just another marker light.
That's a fancy.
Makes the airplane more visible.
To show you more fancy pants?
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're all smooth, so they don't create any extra drag. Some of the other ones have like a little blister out on the wingtip. It's not big, but it's a little bit of drag, costs you a knot or two.
That's right.
And we fly because we like to go fast.
Okay, you got a little tiny hole. This is your stall thing, and you've got the kids suction, thing to save their life.
It's a little tiny accordion.
And you put that on there.
Stall.
What?
Stall.
Because when there's no more pressure on the air, it goes, something's wrong, because you're missing your airflow over it.
Exactly, because the wing creates low pressure. That's how we make lift, right? Low pressure up here, higher pressure down here. As we get closer to the angle of attack that the plane will stop flying.
Means that.
Right. That low pressure center is moving forward on the wing till it's literally sucking air out of that hole.
That's insane.
And then we hear Betty crying in the cockpit, stall, stall.
All right, well, thank you, Betty. Let's climb in this thing, get out of the heat, into the AC. What do you think?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. First thing climbing in, I noticed you have the best tool in the toolbox. You have a hammer. What is that for?
We refer to that as the passenger control device. So if a passenger is getting out of hand, we can whack them with it. Actually, no, what it is if we have an off-airport landing, I'm avoiding the word crash, and for whatever reason we're unable to open these doors, we can take the hammer and hit in the corners, and it'll knock that window out, and we can climb out that way.
I'll be doggone.
That's what it's for.
And then is this the parachute up here?
Yeah, this is the CAP system, Cirrus Airplane Parachute System. Those are the user instructions, but the short version is blue, red, red, and we'll go through that in the passenger briefing, or I could do it now real quick. In the event that we feel like we need to pull this handle, and that would be if we have engine loss and there's not a runway within gliding distance. I don't know that I would want to try to land these things in a farmer's field. I've landed an airplane in farmer's fields a couple of times. They're pretty rough. That's not really what this airplane's designed to do. If I have the option of using this, I have a much more likely positive outcome, both in terms of injuries to the occupants and also survivability of the airframe. The airframe is designed to handle that vertical load under the canopy, and it's most likely that the airplane can be more easily salvaged and put back into service again. We're likely to damage the nose gear and the wheel fairings, and of course where the parachute comes out and where the shroud lines are buried just below the skin surface, that would need a little bit of rework, but that's cosmetic mostly. So there have been several that have had a pull that are back in service again. There's a lot of myths out there about Cirrus. One of them is if you use the parachute, it's totaled. That's absolutely not true.
Okay, all right. So if it all does go wrong, you just yank on this like a fire extinguisher and pull?
Yeah, this will be removed prior to flight.
Okay.
I actually don't like to remove it until everybody's in, just so nobody accidentally uses as a very expensive grab handle. But if we need it, the pin will out. We just grab the red handle, two hands like you're doing a chin-up, and it's about 45 pounds of pull. So it's not starting a lawnmower, or you're gonna have a handle in a hand and a not deployed parachute still in the bag back there. So it's like doing a chin-up, about 45 pounds of pull. Very loud bang. There's a mortar round or a rocket that'll launch that parachute out through the aft end of the fuselage. It comes up. The aft shroud lines are held short initially, so the nose will pitch down. That gets the airplane the smallest aerodynamic profile to where the chute is, so the chute can inflate. Once the chute inflates, the plane will assume a slightly nose-low attitude and descend. I'm told it's at about a 17 knot impact on the ground, so if you imagine jumping off of a one-story roof, about what that would feel like. It's not something you'd want to do all the time, but it's not going to kill you. And the seats are designed to help absorb that load, keep your spine safe.
Yeah, you were telling me that these are designed to be impact, or they like crush or something on landing, right?
That's exactly right. It's a honeycomb structure that's designed to collapse under our weight slowly so that our spine isn't absorbing that vertical load the seat bottom is. Wow. And then we wait to see which way the wind is blowing the parachute, and we get out on the other side. We should be able to open the door to get out, but like I said before, if we can't, we can get the hammer out, just knock the window out, and out we go.
Man, that is cool. These are...
Yeah, we can do that.
Now I can't tell if the thing's latched or not.
Yep, I think it is.
Okay.
All right, hit it and see if it's starting.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Liver up. Like, this is crazy. Because now this airplane is really about managing a system more than it is stick and rudder flying.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, you can stick and rudder fly, and it's pretty fun to fly. But it's also designed to be a personal transportation device, and we want to get there quickly, safely, and not exhausted when we arrive. So we allow the automation to help get us there, and we're focusing our energy on decision making, gathering information, making smart decisions about how to get where we're trying to go.
So this thing is automated as much as a small airplane can be automated.
Yep, pretty much.
Built for comfort and like the air conditioner and stuff. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Well, it's the first time I've ever been in a little airplane with air conditioning.
Really?
Yeah, it's the first time I've flown in a Cirrus as well.
Ah, well, hopefully you like it. I love them. They're great airplanes.
Now there is a big step up from the 172 and as far as managing systems and your workload inside here. And you're going a little bit faster than a 172 as well. So in that airplane, we're bumping along at 110, 120 knots roughly.
Yeah.
This one we're doing about 130 knots.
Well, our true airspeed here is right around 140.
Yeah,
so it was 142 when we first started talking about this.
That's right. And then this thing you're just buttonology. You're managing the system, letting the airplane do what it does, and that's what's keeping you busy, is managing all the systems on board.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow. So to fly one of these really good, it's mostly about study of the systems and managing that, not so much about flying the airplane itself.
Right, because by the time you start flying, you already know how to fly. Obviously you have to learn new speeds and new, what power and pitch combinations give you what performance, but it's really a systems-driven aircraft.
Yeah, it's wild. All right, so I always thought that Cirruses were for people that drink tea with a pinky up, right? And the parachute, I mean, that's kind of like quitting. That's like buying a minivan. That's a little bit like giving up. But I will say, I get it. I totally get it with the air conditioner, with all the fancy electronics. It takes a bit of, there's a huge amount of learning curve trying to figure out all the electronics and stuff and the systems. But I get it. All right, and I'll be honest, secretly I'm a little jealous.
Yeah.
Question for you, what's the scariest moment you've ever had in an airplane?
Well, I did have an engine quit once, and it's funny, everybody asked me, were you scared? And in the moment I really wasn't. I was mad. So I was like, I don't have time for this. I got stuff to do. But once I got on the ground and I was like thinking of all the ways that could have gone sideways, it shook me up a little bit. It was fine. It was kind of nice to see that the things we teach our students to do with the loss of power actually work. I landed an airplane in a field. It wasn't a Cirrus. If it was a Cirrus, would I have used the chute? Yes, absolutely. But I didn't have one, so I landed in a field. It was a 172. The only damage was the nose gear fairing was torn up in the grass because it had waist-high grass in the field. But that plane was flying again 10 days later.
Did they fly it out?
No.
Oh, they put it on a trailer and
they trucked it out. Yeah, the field was too rough. The grass was too tall. It just, there's enough room to get it in there, but I didn't feel like trying to get it out.
Yeah.
I felt like I had used up quite enough luck that day. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fair.
And what was the cause of the issue? What was going on with it? Why did the engine fail?
It was an improperly secured fuel line.
The first flight after maintenance?
First flight after maintenance, and we jokingly refer to those flights as crash test dummy flights.
Yep.
And I was crash test dummy that day as part of my job. And, you know, it really wasn't even a crash. It was an off-airport landing. And, you know.
Minor incident.
Minor incident.
Major, expensive minor incident that involved paperwork.
Actually, not much. I did declare, although not on guard, I did declare them on the radio because I knew all they're going to do is tell me Peter and I's 5 miles away. It's like, all right, may as well not be there. I can't get that far. So I used the transponder. I squawked 7700, knowing that ADSB, they would know right where I was, and they did. Once I was on the ground, I called Tampa Tracon and told them, hey, I'm the guy that just squawked 7700. And they said, oh, you're in a field out there by the Selman in 301, right? Yeah, it's exactly where I'm at. They had already dispatched first responders.
Wow.
And so they showed up, and they all seemed a little disappointed that there wasn't smoldering wreckage and a bunch of bodies.
I know, like, wait, oh, you just got stuck in some high weeds.
Yeah, pretty much. That was it.
All of our training was for something totally different.
Exactly. So, but they did finally have something to do because everybody rubbernecking was running into each other in their cars.
Oh my goodness.
So the paramedics got busy with a bunch of chain reaction rear enders over there on 301. And it was funny, I called my wife and I told her, hey, you know, I'm going to be on the news. And she goes, why? And I said, well, there's a news helicopter circling the airplane in the field where I landed it. And she goes, oh, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. We had just moved, and she said, you know, the microwave at the new place doesn't work. I need to get a new one. Okay. No, she was like, no concern, you're fine. Yeah, okay, microwave's broken, what do you want to do? You know.
That's a pretty good way to have that. Wow, well done.
Yeah, I got a cool wife.
That is pretty cool. All right, sir, well, we're just cruising right back. And have you ever flown a 421?
I have not.
You have not. So in your guesstimate, you're familiar with pressurized piston twins?
A bit, yeah.
Okay. And your guesstimate, how big of a step up is it to go from this to that?
There's a lot more going on in that airplane. Twice as many engines. You've got gearboxes to think about. You've got, you know, depending on what the panel is in it, turbochargers. You've got to manage pressurization, or you take a permanent nap. You know, so yeah, it's a much more complicated airplane. I think this would be a good interim step because you are managing several systems. But yeah, I think that's a much more complicated machine than this. Those engines sit out pretty far from the center line of the aircraft. So in the event you do lose an engine, that's a lot of asymmetrical thrust out there to manage. I know the rudders on those are huge, but not having flown one, I couldn't tell you, you know, how hard your leg's going to ache.
Oh, it aches.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's not fun.
I would imagine.
So we're getting close. We'll just enjoy the flight and talk to you here in a second on the ground.
Thank you so much for flying in this very advanced, complicated airplane. The next stop is the one and only, the 421, and we have to actually go to simulator training first. Here goes nothing. I'm here at RTC to go get in a real simulator. Let's go check this out. Oh, cool. So the command center is right here?
This is Central Command.
Okay, and there's cockpit right here. Holy, this is fully, this is an actual cockpit, isn't it?
Every one of these simulators has a story.
Wow. Holy moly, that's fantastic. It's the same carpet, the switches, all that stuff.
It doesn't have a seatbelt.
Oh yeah, huh? Oh, the oxygen mask here for pressurization stuff. Your fire system. Well, this is amazing.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, this is the real deal. It's not plastic or faked or anything. That is so cool.
Do you think I'll be in here if this was make-believe stuff? And this is a real McCoy, Jimmy.
Wow.
It's really good stuff.
That is fantastic. All right. So what do you do over here?
Well, here normally we can go ahead and pick whatever airport we'd like to fly to Continental, US of A. And also airports that are not on this list, we could put it on. So for an example, like, where would you like to fly out of today, Jimmy?
I mean, let's fly out of
Out of Tampa International, why not?
Or St. Pete?
TPA or St. Pete, yeah.
Okay, let's go to pi. So we'll put PIE in here, and the IK, I'll put the K, that shows your US. And normally we'll pick 18. How's that? That's normally your
yep.
favorite runway.
Okay.
So I'll click 18, and then I'll put you right out here on runway 18.
Oh, whoa.
How was that? And then
Oh, this is trippy.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Holy moly, it goes up and everything.
More, buddy, but look at this. Are you ready? Start flying.
Oh, wow. Oh, and yeah, it's moving, trim, autopilot stuff is happening, airspeed, we're coming down.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the way that was set up. So if I released you right now, then watch what would happen.
Okay, so he's... Oh, okay, this is trippy. It feels like we're actually doing something. Let's see, will it...
You dizzy.
Oh, yeah. Whee.
Can you land it from here, Jimmy?
Yeah, can I land it from sitting back here? Here, we'll just... There we go. Throw in some power, trim up. There we go. Oh, and the trim buried there. Interesting.
That's pretty cool,
It really feels like you're moving, and there's water and everything. So what Lewis has set up here, I just got in the cockpit. We just went through the starting procedure, how to start it up, and the different buttons and things. And so now I've asked him to give me what he's got. Throw at me whatever he's got. And this is before my training, so that we can see what will happen when we try this without any actual training. So it's gonna be fine. It's just fine. Okay, so right now the airplane is set up to be running, RPMs, all that stuff. All right, sir, go ahead.
And go to Nego, 18 left, St. Pete Tower, clear for takeoff, climb and maintain 3000. After departure, contact departure control. Clear for takeoff.
St. Pete Tower, Golden Eagle, 18 left, clear for departure, maintain 3000, contact departure after 3000.
Correct.
All right, so we've done all of our checklists already, our pre-flight, everything there's, and we've got everything is still set. That's there, flaps are up, throttle's up, trim is set. Okay, bring it up to 20 inches, let everything get happy. There's 20 inches, engine instruments are in the green, and release brakes, bring it up, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Power, and airspeed's alive. We have quite a bit of engine instruments are in the green. There's 80 knots, 90 knots, 100 knots, back pressure coming up. Golly, what is that? Trim. Gear up, pitch. Holy good Lord. Oh, we just lost something. That. Nothing. Oh, and we're dead already. Holy moly, that happened fast.
Real fast, eh?
Okay, end of day one. It is now 5 o'clock. I've been in that simulator for, I don't know what, 4 hours, 5 hours total altogether today. Something, I don't know. My brain is toast. Back tomorrow for day number 2. Day 2 of training, and I gotta tell you, the first day kicked my tail. I was mentally exhausted. I couldn't even figure out how to use the turn signal in my car on the way home. It was pretty bad. So today is a lot more of the same, and we'll just get her done. I was surprised how nauseous I felt afterwards. That I was not expecting, but apparently it's pretty common. Makes sense, like virtual reality almost, I guess. So we came here across the street where they have the really big simulators. Now you're saying that this one right here is which airplane?
King Air 350.
King Air 350, all the hydraulics, it moves, and it's huge. And that one over there is a Citation 550?
560 Ultra.
560 Ultra, which sounds fancy. But Jim here is so kind. He's going to take us in there and show us a real simulator. Let's go check this thing out. Look at all of the...
Those are electric actuators.
All the cables that go to the electric actuators on there to move it. The computer system over there. That is a monster.
These computers are for this simulator. You've got a computer for the visuals, a computer for the motion base, and another computer to recreate the flight characteristics of the airplane. So it's a lot of computing power to make these things work.
Yeah, it is.
And
Golly.
there's another Citation under construction over there.
Oh, and they're building it over there. Let's see
It
if
starts with an airplane cockpit, and they build the cab around it, and the visual display wraps around the front of it.
And that's a real cockpit out of an
It is.
airplane, right?
It's a genuine airplane cockpit, yes.
Wow.
Usually from a scrapped or wrecked airplane. The cockpit is recycled into a simulator.
That's fantastic. All right, let's see what we got. Switches, all real switch. It's a real cockpit. And these are the real instruments with computer screens to simulate. Wow. Oh, this is crazy. That was super cool. Now we have to finish our training so I can get signed off. And the next step is going to get the real thing. So let's finish this up. You know, let's set up that thing that killed us and crashed me at the very beginning. Let's see if I did any better.
Left, you are clear for takeoff. Fly runway heading, maintain 2000.
18 left, clear for takeoff, maintain 2000, runway heading.
Kilo Mike, roger that.
Alright, engines are in the green. Power up. There's full power, engines are in the green, airspeed's alive. There's 60. There comes 80. There's 90. There's 100. Back. Gears up. Brakes.
Kilo Mike, contact departure. We'll talk to you boys later.
Kilo Mike. Woo-wee. Something broke. Okay.
Beautiful. Directional control.
Alright.
And work the
Hey,
phone.
where am I at? 421 Kilo Mike. I'd like to declare emergency. I have a right engine failure. Need vectors to come around for return.
Roger.
Back.
Twin Cessna, 421 Kilo Mike. Fly your heading right now. Let me know when you can accept a left turn.
421 Kilo Mike, stand by.
Standing by, Kilo Mike.
Alright. There is glide slope is alive. Gears down. 15. Alright, runway is in sight.
And you're clear to land.
Clear to land. Alright, 3 green down and log flaps. We have got the runway made. Full flaps. Bring my rudder out. And power is out.
Very nice. I am
All
to sit.
right.
I got to sit. Nice job, Joey.
Yeah, I didn't die this time.
You know, the first time, the same scenario. This time, he made it went 2 degrees. That was it. Then dead center on that heading. Perfect.
There you
Had
go.
a good climb rate. What can I say? Excellent job.
Yeah, at the end there on the approach, I got quite a bit
It happened.
off, but hey, we survived and made it back alive. Well, now
You did a good
that we've
job.
done in this sim, now it's time to go get in the real airplane and not try this for real. but to fly it normal, because I get to break everything in this airplane and do stuff in here that I would never do in my real one on purpose. So let's head north.
This airplane is more complicated than most commercial airliners. Let me show you why. Now, it has all of the same stuff that every other airplane that we've looked at has. It has the wings and the engines and spoilers and flight controls, but one big thing, these winglets on the side right here. You find those on your Boeing 737. The other thing that's really unique about this airplane, that little square right there, it does this. Spoiler alert, it's a speed brake, and it goes up to slow you down, found on most large commercial jets. The biggest thing that makes this so much more complicated than, say, a commercial airliner is this one's old and everything is manually controlled. It's not automated like you'd find on the newer stuff. A great example is all of these levers right here. There are 6 levers to operate 2 engines, and it's all done manually. You have to adjust these back and forth and up and down at every stage of flight. Where in a big jet airliner and stuff like that, they have auto throttle, which means it's kind of like cruise control, or you just have one lever for each engine and whoop, that goes faster, and you pull it back and it goes slower, and that's it. But in this one, you have to control everything manually. The other thing, your heater system is completely separate from your air conditioning system. And all of that is manually controlled. It does have an autopilot, this thing right here, and this thing right here, but again, all manually controlled, and you have to do it with these, and then it goes through that, and it's just all old school manually controlled stuff. Unlike the other airplanes we looked at earlier, this one is made to go very, very high. It's certified up to 30,000 feet. Comes with onboard oxygen, and yes, we actually have to make sure this one works, because if you're at 30,000 feet and you lose pressurization, oh, by the way, this is pressurized, so you're not needing to wear the oxygen mask, and yep, you guessed it, that's also manually controlled. This is the pressurization, and you have this knob that you have to manually control at the different stages of flight, and to turn it on, turn it off, and adjust it here. As you can see, this is a huge amount to keep track of while you're just trying to basically fly and keep the blue side up and the brown side down. Thank you to Twin Cessna Flyer for making this journey possible. So go online to twincessna.org, check them out. They have a lot of free resources for technical information about these airplanes. Them are some big old brakes. Hoo-ah. Twin Cessna has an active community, and they're currently restoring an awesome classic 310. How cool is this? This light folds down like this, and that's my landing light. Pretty neat. If you're looking for a community of really smart, wonderful people with lots of learning about flying these bigger, more complicated airplanes, go to twincessna.org. That is the group for you. This propeller, 90 inches. That's, look, there, and I still like that. It's huge. Look at how big the propeller blade is. This is definitely bigger than anything that I've flown before. I'm a little intimidated, if I'm honest with you, but also kind of excited at the same time. Look, the ice boots, these things will inflate when you fly through really bad weather and get the ice buildup. You click a button in there and they go like a balloon, and they break the ice off of it so you can keep flying, because ice is really bad for airplanes. It's caused lots and lots of accidents because you get ice on here and it's no longer smooth and the air doesn't flow over well, and it's really heavy, and then it makes the wing not do wing stuff. So that's bad. But this is good. Yay! Also, fun side note, that's actual glass. Whereas this side, good Lord, that's a really long nose. Look how long of a nose that is. Where this side is plexiglass. It's Lexan. Because that side over there is a heated windshield. And if it breaks or that thing has to be replaced, put in the comments, how much do you think it is? It's about 30,000 bucks. I don't think I've told you I've never actually flown in a 421. I've only flown in one pressurized piston twin, and that was just 2 days ago on our way back from another trip with a buddy. And I bought this one. This one I bought about 6 months ago, and it's taken that long in the shop here to get it all totally dialed in. They've already flown it a few times, but yeah, you know what? And that's fine. Because with the Twin Cessna organization and community, I was super confident in buying this one because they know these airplanes better than anybody, and they knew all the questions to ask. When I was buying this one, I just reached out to the community and they helped me make sure to look at every single thing that would be an issue on these, and there's no surprises so far, which is a good sign. Whew. Look, that is 375 horse out of this thing. That, I'll be honest, I'm kind of intimidated. Look at the exhaust pipe on it. Look at the exhaust pipe. So that's my head. That's how big. Oh yeah, that exhaust. We had to get that redone every 12 years. This exhaust and up through there, $15,000 each engine. Yeah. And it wasn't a surprise, but it hurts really bad. But thankfully, Hartzell, engine, they hooked us up pretty good, and it's pretty neat video for that to see how all that stuff is made. I think it's about time to fly this thing. Well, everything I learned on twincessnaflyer.org is about to become real. Yeah. Hey, look at that! The first airplane I've ever had that was a 3-point. That's cool.
Gotta have sunglasses.
You gotta put your shades on, man.
You gotta look cool.
Yeah.
Future's so bright, you gotta wear shades.
I only wear these sunglasses at night.
Yeah. Oh.
Come on!
Wow, that was bad. I whiffed on that one.
Wow, that. I'm a little disappointed in you, Chris.
You can be, it's fine. It happens.
Lunchtime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be. It's been a long morning already. All right, normal start on this airplane.
Starting procedures.
Yep.
We've already
walk through your checklist.
Yeah, we've already done all this weight and balance. Yeah, I'd say we're good.
I'd say we're good.
Yeah. Okay, walk me through your the 421 starting procedure.
So we'll bring our battery on. We'll bring our alternators online as well, and then all of our mags at the same time.
Mags are on. Batteries on.
Throttles, mixtures, props, all full forward.
All full forward.
All right, and we are going to go ahead and start with the left engine that's closest to the battery. So we're going to give a prime left. We're going to watch our fuel flow, and we're going to just glance outside and make sure we get a little bit of fuel out of the intake there.
All right. Fuel flow. There it goes.
All right. Bring down, up 1/4 of an inch. We're going to start, and as we hit the start button, we're going to slowly advance till we catch.
Roger that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yep. Brakes are on. Can I get a clear prep?
Pressure here?
Yeah, oil pressure. And there it goes.
Oil pressure, and we're going to check, glance over, and make sure our vacuum ball, we have one pulled in.
Vacuum, yep.
Yep.
Alright, RPM for that one right now is at 800.
Yep. 800 to 1,000 when we first start up is fine, so.
Okay.
Right in the house.
And then the same one with that side?
Same procedure for the other side.
Alright, so.
Yep, just give a good prime.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And you got it.
Alright, off. And
bring that down. And then just slowly advance as you crank.
Alright, move her up. And watch the oil pressure coming up. There it comes up.
And our vacuum.
And vacuum is good.
We're ready to go. If you're ready to go.
Man, I love having air conditioning.
Air
by the way.
conditioning is a
Like,
very,
this is game changer.
very, very nice. You won't get it out of here. It's all going to come out down here.
That's fine. I need to pipe it in so it's right there. Just a hose to go in your shorts. Okay, clear on final. We're ready to go?
Yep.
All right, brakes are off. Bring it up. Get us out there.
She requires a little power to get moving.
Yeah. So we'll rotate somewhere around 95.
Yep.
Take off at 100, climb out above blue line 130 once we clean up.
Yep.
All right. And then where are we going?
We are just going to head to the south, so we'll make a right turn out to the south, providing there are no issues on takeoff, and off we will go.
All right, so let me just do that.
Grab some altitude.
Bam. All right.
And just,
Pictures, props, trim is set.
We'll set. Defiance is our waypoint that way.
Okay, permanent flaps are 0. Masters bumps are off. Okay, here we go.
Yep. Like I said, nice and easy, nice and slow all the way up. Keep that power coming in. Keep it coming in. Keep on the brakes. Keep on those brakes. Keep on those brakes.
All right, there's 25.
Yep. Now nice and slow. Release your brakes. Bring your power all the way up to the gate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is some power.
Bring them up nice and easy. There you go.
All right, full power. There's 80.
Engines look good.
There's 95. Rotating.
Nice and easy. All right, positive rate. Tap the brakes. Gears in the well.
Gears is up.
Hydraulic pressure lights on.
A-firm.
And extinguished.
And transition. Good. All right, engines are still good. We are, so let's see, 700, so we need to get to about
17 or so.
Oh, because oh, the altitude alert. Oh, because we're 1,000 to go.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. There's 13. Here comes 14. Still on our runway heading. Sounds good so far. All right, go ahead and make our turn out.
Yep, and bring it back to 35 inches. So nice and easy back to 35. And then we're going to bring that back to 1900 RPM. Doesn't have to be all the way. There you go. Get that left one through there. Keep it coming back. Keep it coming back. There you go. Just like that.
And we're southbound right now. Nice. All right, I need just a smidge of... Oh, it's altitude.
Yep.
What are we climbing up to?
Oh, we'll climb up to 5,500. So this would be like a 60% power setting right here. So go ahead and take your headset off and listen to how.
Oh, wow.
You can just have a conversation.
Okay, all right, hold on. So I got a decimal meter. My commercial flight on the way here was 92.
Here at 95.
And that's up here in the cockpit.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of wire back there.
It's only 89 back there.
Yeah. So you really don't need to have headsets for passengers.
It's quieter back there than on my Delta flight here.
Yep, that's why.
All right,
these airplanes are amazing. All right, you can get a heading that you would like to start on. We're going to do some steep turns, so we'll do a couple clearing turns real quick just to make sure there's no one hiding around us.
All right, I'll go ahead and take autopilot off.
Yep, we'll start with a steep turn to the left.
All right. Oh, she's a big girl. And by Steve, you want to keep it at 45?
Yeah, we'll start with 45.
All right.
We'll take you to commercial standards next.
Yep. Go to 60?
Yep. It's hard with all the nose out there at first to kind of get a gauge of where you are in relation to...
Well, I'm trying to figure out where that is versus that.
Yep, absolutely. See, it's just such a smooth airplane though.
It really is, holy cow.
Compared to a 310.
All right, there's a 180 turn. We'll go back to the other way.
Yep. I will keep an eye out. No one below us, no crop dusters or anything flying around underneath of us.
Oh, I was going to 60 right away.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You can go 60. I'm just watching. This time of year, the crop dusters are out. Not that they should be up at 5,000 feet, but...
Yeah. Well, you know.
They get pretty aggressive.
Oh my gosh, this thing is smooth.
Just smooth as glass.
Oh man, that was nice. I didn't even have to put any rudder into it to lead it, really.
Nope.
Wow. All right. There we go.
Look at that, flying straight by itself. All right, let's start slowing this old girl down.
Shush. All right, so get into some slow flight.
Yep, so we've got plenty of speed, or, you know, I wouldn't touch your power right here. What I would do is start dirtying the airplane up. So let's get...
We're well under.
Yep,
okay.
Approach flaps in first.
Okay, it'll tail up and then gear down.
Yep. You notice with the big nose, you don't get that pronation that you typically get in the 310.
Yeah.
We have a hydraulic pressure light, 3 green, and the hydraulic pressure light is extinguished. If the hydraulic pressure light stays on, then you have a leak in your system and we need to pull the hydraulic breaker so that we don't burn the pump up.
Okay, affirmative. All right, we'll retrim.
Yep. See, as we dirty this airplane up, it's just going to get slower and slower and slower. So this power setting is probably going to be pretty close. So let's go ahead and go flaps 30.
All right, flaps 30. Does it stay there or do I gotta?
Yep, it'll stop. Yep.
All right.
There we go.
Keep getting nose. I gotta pitch forward like normal, or trim forward, right?
Just a little bit, yeah. Just hold that 5,700 feet.
There we go. All right.
All right, let's go full flaps, 45.
And is that our flap speed? What's?
Oh yeah, we're well within it. 142 is the wide arc, so.
Oh, okay.
We're well under. We're well
All
under
right, full flaps.
There we go. And let's get this old girl slowed down. Let's see. I want to see somewhere about 85 knots.
Oh, nice and mushy.
Yep.
All right, full flaps are in.
Hold that 5,700 feet. We'll see where that bleeds us off to. We'll pull about another inch or two out of that manifold pressure.
Oh yeah, you can feel it's already mushy a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, coming down to 25.
So what we want to prevent with these engines is we want to prevent the props from driving the engine. So when we're making power settings on the low end and we're coming into land, we don't want those props to be spinning faster than the engine is spinning. So we'll cover that on landings and stuff like that, but just so you know, that's why I'm having you slowly inch that power back, because I don't want to get to the point where the props are driving the engines. We'll get there. Give me one more inch out of there and I think you're going to be right where we want to be. Perfect. All right, while we're waiting for it to bleed off a little speed, give me a left turn to 120, please.
Left turn 120.
Nice and smooth and gentle. No abrupt movements this slow. We want to just stay nice and happy. She's mushy, but still responsive. All right, give me a left turn back to 210, please.
Left turn?
Yep. Or give me a right turn, I'm sorry. Right turn to 210.
Right turn,
Thank
210.
you. Thank you for that question. ATC screwing up already. And I got that. Looks like a helicopter down there.
All right, coming up on 85 knots.
Yep, perfect. There's your 85 knots. Nice and slow. ATC, she's flying just fine. So what we're going to do is once we get out on the 210 heading, we are going to pull about 2 more inches of manifold pressure out. We're going to maintain that altitude and we're going to do a power off stall.
I'm sorry, excuse me, what? All I heard was power off stall, and he kept talking about other things. Now, in a trainer airplane, power off stall is normal. That's what you do to learn how the airplane feels whenever you're at very slow speeds. In a twin engine airplane, a power off stall is a death sentence. Lesson number 1 when you're in a twin engine airplane is don't go to a full stall, because once that thing starts turning or dropping a wing or something like that, It's extremely difficult to recover. And he's asking me to do a power off stall. You'll see in a second, and my brain is not processing exactly what his expectations are. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to end up on another YouTube channel.
The recovery for the power off stall is we're going to lower the nose first, and we're going to very slowly and gently bring power in and to increase our airspeed.
Okay.
We don't need to get aggressive with it. It's not a 172. We don't need to throw all our power in and power out. We have plenty of power in this airplane.
Right. That.
So give me 2 inches out and hold this altitude, and we're going to let the speed bleed off. Stay coordinated, wings level, ball centered. And then once we start to bleed off that speed, we're just going to pitch that nose up, just kind of like we're coming into land. Get a little too slow. You're going to notice that it's going to get real slow, and we're probably going to go below the red line before she actually stalls and brakes. Yep. Hold that 5,700 feet. That's cool still. She just wants to fly. Go ahead and give me a little bit more power out.
There's red line.
Imagine that. She's still flying just fine.
Yeah, it's starting to bleed off pretty good now, though.
Yep. That's what we want.
Oh, yeah, there it goes. Starting to fall.
Yep.
And there's a little buffeting.
Yep. Keep it where it is. Keep us. There it is. Nice and easy. See?
Oh, that wasn't bad at all.
I told you, it flies like a big 172.
Holy cow. I'll be honest with you, I was a little scared.
Yeah, well, I would not put you in any life-threatening situation, I promise you that. Keep us coming down. You're fine. A little balloon on that 45. You'll get that every time. Just nice and smooth up to 19.
There we go.
And we're going to leave our power right where it is now. Speed is fine. Don't worry about that speed. We'll bleed that speed off, no problem. All right, now slowly start to walk that power out. And now all the way out. All the way back. There it is. Nice and easy. Don't fight it. Little nose up, little nose up. Let it sit.
All right, flaps coming up.
Yep.
B brakes, go. I am curious just to know what that
It does, right? You don't have to get on the brakes. We got all the room in the world here.
Yeah, I haven't touched the brakes yet. I guess I could have left the flaps in too. All right, I'm gonna start using the brakes now. All right, I gotta say my first impressions on the 421 and being able to fly it and pilot it, it's definitely a bigger airplane. However, it flies just like a Cub because wind and physics does what wind and physics does.
Absolutely.
This has just a little bit more weight behind it you gotta stay in front of it a little bit more. You're probably not gonna slip this one all the way down like you're gonna do a Cub.
No.
And yes, after my first flight, things are already broken. We found that the autopilot has a mind of its own, and sometimes it works, but most of the time not. And then it kept popping the fuel boost pump breaker, so we have to change out the boost pump, and thankfully we're here at TAS, where this is all they do is twin Cessna. See, there's look, there's more over there. They're just everywhere around here. So they happen to have a boost pump here in stock on their shelf that we're gonna switch out and then hopefully take it on a second flight. But I gotta say, for the cheapest one, it's pretty stinking nice. This is cool.